Hi, this is Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems Incorporated out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm at Centenary Baptist Church in Centenary, South Carolina, outside of Marion area. And we've completed the sound system here at the church. I'd like to give you a general overview of all the equipment we've installed. We'll also show some of the equipment in the back, most of the what we call the drive-in amplifiers and processors. We have those back in a closet in the back of the church. But I'd like to spend a few minutes and go through the basic, the guts of the sound system and explain what everything does and the reason why we put it in. First of all, I mistakenly forgot to turn the sound system off because I've been adding a few pieces to it. We have a unit called a sequencer installed, and a sequencer turns all of the equipment, all the necessary equipment on in proper order, and it also turns the equipment on in the back of the church in the electrical closet in proper order. So now that the sound system is turned off, when you walk up into the sound booth, in a double secret place, we have a toggle switch placed underneath the cabinet, and if we flip that toggle switch, then what that does is it fires up or turns on the whole entire sound system, and then after a few seconds it turns on the items back in the back. It just did the reverse of what I did previously. This sound system is pretty basic. We have quite a few input plates or stage boxes on the sanctuary stage, and in the audio mixer here we've labeled those as pulpit, and then we have channels 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and they are labeled accordingly on the stage. We also have many additional microphone lines installed that we're going to use for a later date because we're putting in video and projection systems sometime down in the future. We have a microphone in the baptistry that's labeled in channel 12. Currently the piano is in channel 9, I just haven't put a label on it yet. Then we have a couple of handheld wirelesses, 1 and 2, and then I have a lavalier clip-on for the pastor. We've got a couple of choir mics grouped together in a channel, and then we have a couple channels left over here for media and music playback. So the audio mixer, once we really learn what one channel does, this way it doesn't matter how many channels we have. But we'll spend a few minutes on the mixer in just a second. To continue on with the rest of the equipment, these are the receivers for the wireless microphones. As you can see, we have wireless handheld mics 1 and 2. These are the receivers, and they're numbered accordingly and labeled accordingly. Lavalier, handheld 2 and handheld 1. Taking one of the microphones, for example, this is handheld 1. I've got the mic clip just held on there so we wouldn't lose it. If we look at the bottom of the microphone, we push and hold that button, then the microphone will come on. This particular one is handheld number 1, and it will stay on for a second. And testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, hey, hey. Now that's microphone number 1 going through the audio sound system. I can come over here and I can mute it, which we'll spend more time with that in a minute. And the beauty of these wireless microphones, one switch does everything. I can touch it momentarily and it mutes it, and then I can turn it back on, turns green, or I can hold it for a couple seconds and it disappears, so it goes away. So for now I'm going to move the wireless microphones away. Handheld number 2, I'm going to move it away. And lavalier number 3 operates in the same manner. Push and hold the button, turns green, runs off AA batteries, and I'm going to unmute the lavalier. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, hey, hey. Testing 1, 2. And if I need to, I can mute it. Testing 1, 2, 3. Muted. Back on. Testing 1, 2, 3. And hold it again. Shuts it off. This particular microphone is a cardioid microphone, so therefore it will stick straight out and clip as such. The old adage, microphone should be one fist under your last chin. So the closer we can keep the microphone to the upper part of the tie, of the actual bow part of the tie, then the better off we'll be. I'm going to move this out of the way also. This is a hearing impaired device, and sound that goes through the mixer and through the sound system comes out through a cable and into our hearing impaired device. This is a transmitter, and we have 4 of these battery-operated belt packs. They also operate off AA batteries. If I have a hearing impaired person in the church, anything that's speaking through the sound system, I'll get a small indication right here. It says SIG, which means signal, and as someone's speaking, that red light will blink on and off. That tells me that sound is going to this transmitter, and it's going to send it to these little wireless hearing impaired devices. They can put the earbuds in their ear, turn the unit on, and then adjust the volume accordingly. There are 4 packs that come with the system. Once we buy the initial system of the transmitter and the 4 receivers, you can add as many receivers as you would like down the road. So if the church called and said, hey, we need 20 more receivers, they average about $100, $125, and you can add as many as you would like to the base system that you already have. So I'm moving this out of the way. Next in line we have a juice goose, which is just a power supply, a filtered power supply, and then another juice goose just to tidy everything together. Notice I put a sticker on these that says leave on and leave on, because we don't want to turn any part of the sound system on and off with the switches here. Everything's done by the sequencer button down below. As long as we don't touch any of the power switches on this, we should be able to come into the church, flip the switch, and everything operate as normal. As soon as we start unplugging and turning things off, then we're going to be in trouble and some things are not going to work. Okay, power supply and power supply, like I said. This unit here is called a Tascam CD200, and we've set this unit up to be a playback, a music playback. We have 3 options for this guy. I can take a standard 3.5 cable that I could use for an iPad, iPod, phone, any type of device that uses a 3.5 cable, and I can plug it into the auxiliary input there, take the other end and plug it into whatever device I'd like to have it happen through. So I can have that device play through here, also have an older iPod dock and a newer type phone connection if I wanted to park it in there and I had music playing from my phone system or my iPod there, and then I can utilize this at any time, slide that back in, and or I have a CD player on board. So I have 3 different music devices I can play from one unit. Makes it very convenient. And the reason we do this is because the cable comes out of here and just plugs into one single channel. Obviously I wouldn't play 2 or 3 music devices or sound sources at one time, so it makes it convenient just to play all my music through one channel. I just put a CD in, I think. Okay, my display says AUX, AUX. If I'd like to change to my CD, I can push and hold this shift button. I'll do it this way. And push source select, and it went to CD. All right, I don't know what CD that was, but I'm just going to start playing some music. So, since we're doing this, if we look here, we see we have a signal to our hearing impaired device. Turn that down a little bit. That means sound is going through the audio console and back up into our hearing impaired, just to prove the point. Anytime we see this light flashing, that means that sound is going to our hearing impaired packs. Okay, that's our playback unit, and this operates as a normal CD player. I can shift and move. I have a wireless remote control. If I wish to use it, I've got 2 remote controls for the recorder and the playback, so if I wanted to forward things back and forth, I can treat it just like a normal CD player. But there again, the cool thing about it is I have an auxiliary input for an iPad, a phone dock, and a CD player all through one unit. So I'm going to pause that until we start talking about the audio mixer. Next item is the Tascam CD-RW900, which is set up to be only a recorder. We don't require any special disc. We can use a regular CDR or CD-RW if we'd like to record over it. We can push the eject button. I actually don't have a disc in there this time, but we can feed it in with a normal disc and let it go through its process of reading the disc, and then at that time I can come over here and I can hit play and record, and then it will record just like a normal, any type of recorder would. I do, however, have level controls for right and left over on the right side. So once I'm recording and my music is going or my service is taking place, I should see a LED ladder telling me the level of the recording in here. Of course, I've got a set of headphones that we're keeping with it so that you can monitor what you're recording. There's a level control right there. Or if you wanted to monitor what music you were going to play before you turned it on, either way. These headphones have the double plug 3.5 and the 1/4 inch tip ring sleeve, which is a stereo plug. So you've got a set of headphones to use here at the church. The unit on the bottom is set up to be a recorder only. If for some reason somebody wanted to put a disc in and play it through the sound system, it would not play because I'm not coming out of the audio out into the sound system. Okay, that's the general run-through of the equipment in the sound booth. Oh, incidentally, owner's manuals, but guys don't read manuals, so I just stuck them over there. Anybody else is welcome to. Let's talk about the audio mixer. In this installation, we've set up the stage. I'm going to move this slightly. That's a shot of the stage. We have quite a few 5x5 steel drop boxes on stage, and once you lift the lid of the box, you'll see 2 or 3 or 4 microphone inputs on the stage. There's also an electronic piano, and there's a couple choir mics hanging up there, along with the speaker cluster system out in the stage area. This setup is relatively simple. We have, however, wired the stage to have 2 independent monitor mixes. Now, an independent monitor mix means that I could be sitting at the piano and have a little hotspot monitor or a floor monitor, and I can direct any sound I would like exclusively to come out of that monitor speaker. Right now we don't have any stage monitors for the system. The church would like not to get any at this time, but we're sitting on ready for those once that happens. Therefore, the setup and the operation of the sound system is going to be very simple. I'm going to go back to my CD player, my music source that's playing, and I hope I can see this at this angle. When something is happening in a particular channel, for example, if I took handheld mic number 1 and turned it on, then once I started speaking in this microphone, hey, 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 test, 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 you'll see in that channel that the green light indicator tells me that there's something going on in that channel. It's up to me at that time to say, okay, do I want to hear what's going on there? And if that's the case, take the mute switch and bring it up, which lets my sound go through the audio system. So what I'm getting at is it's just a standard mute switch. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the reason I like this board in smaller setups is that it's kind of a convenient feature to have a green LED light that tells me something's going on there, and it's up to me to decide whether or not to turn it on. Obviously, I'm playing music. I'd like to listen to it, so I'm going to turn my music on and listen to it. Right above here, I have the LR control, which is left and right. This system is set up in dual mono. We don't have anything set up in stereo because I don't want anything coming out the left side of the sanctuary that's not coming out of the right side of the sanctuary. I'd like to have everything come out of both speakers simultaneously. So the left and right is irrelevant. This button is called Effects, and inside this mixer is an onboard processor. Excuse me, an onboard processor meaning that I have reverb, delay, chorus, echo, and if I would like, I could add that individually to whatever channel I was utilizing. For example, if I had somebody singing a solo with a handheld microphone number 1, then I could add a little bit of reverb and effects to their voice to kind of smooth out some rough edges or anything like that. Next is monitor 2 and monitor 1. That's what I was speaking about previously on stage, where I have when you lift the lid of the box, it's labeled monitor 1 and monitor 2. Right now we don't have any stage monitors, but as that moves in the future, I will be able to play this music through the sanctuary, just like we are now. But I'll also be able to come up here and take that music and direct it out to monitor 2 and direct it out to monitor 1 independently. Bring that back down so we can hear. The blue knobs up top are just tone control. Bass, mid, and treble, or lows, mids, and highs. And that allows me to make it sound very crisp or bright or like an AM radio. Or more bass to it or anything like that. So tone control, monitor 1, monitor 2, effects for reverb and such, pan control, and then the most important level control in the whole mixer on the top part is the gain control. The gain control acts as a master volume for the whole entire channel. And what I'm saying is if I turn the music up here, and I like to set everything hopefully right about 0, if I come over here and increase this gain control, so the purpose of the gain control, hopefully, is to allow me to have a relatively good mix, right about 0, preferably, and the gain control lets me match those up, so I have a good indication of what's playing through the sound system. And the reason I would like to have a relatively good 0 or unity gain mix is because this coming out of the mixer is actually what goes to my recorder, so I can be sure that I have relatively good levels going to my recorder, and I don't have person A extremely loud, person B almost not heard at all. That's the purpose of what we call unity gain mixing. So the gain control is very, very important. Plus the gain control, once I make an adjustment on the gain control, I'm making an adjustment on the monitor speaker, monitor 1, monitor 2, and the house system. Okay, music off. General overview, nothing way out of the ordinary, nothing very difficult. The beauty of this system is that once things are set to a good, comfortable level for the church, someone gets up to speak, unmute the pulpit mic, pastor gets up to speak, unmute his lavalier microphone, someone's going to sing some music, unmute the music and let it play. So kind of nice. Again, real straightforward. Nothing out of the ordinary. All right, Joey O'Neill at Sound Systems in Myrtle Beach. Any questions for me? Store number 293-5883, and my cell number 6843 area code 602-5883. And on our instruction manuals and books, we have address information, phone numbers. While I have this open, we also installed a dimmer-controlled lighting system. Let me see if that's on the video, if you can see that. Tilt this up just a bit. Beautiful. We installed a digital dimming system in the back of the sanctuary, of course, and all of the lighting fixtures, chandeliers, recessed lights, stage lights. The reason I'm bringing that up is because these are my programming notes for the lighting system. I'm keeping these in the manual. So what I did for the sanctuary is set up 8 scenes. This is my master panel, meaning that this is the panel that I did all the programming on. We have one of these panels at the entrance of the church and the foyer on the right, and then once you exit the church left or right on the side of the stage, there's a panel on each side going into the hallway. I programmed the lighting panels to be, number 1 means every light in the sanctuary is on full. Number 2, everything goes dim. Number 3 is just the chandeliers only. Number 4 is all the stage lighting. I labeled number 5 as a concert, which means I've dimmed the chandeliers, the stage lights are up and running. Then I did a pulpit only, and then I have a microphone in the baptistry. So when the pastor comes down to baptize somebody, obviously he doesn't want to wear his clip-on wireless microphone, so we have a microphone on a plate inside the baptistry. And I programmed one of the lighting programs to light up the baptistry and dim the sanctuary. And then number 8 is off. So pretty straightforward. Hit number 1, and you're back up to full. But that's the dimming lighting system that kind of operates itself, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, that's the rundown for now, and thank you.